Welcome, birds and turds, to the coolest Angry Bird pod show so far. I'm your host, Kyle. Over there, because I realize he's to my right now, is Matt. I look way better than I usually do, and we're starting a podcast. So, how you doing, Matt?
Well, I look the same.
Yeah.
I don't have these cool cyberpunk glasses that the video portion crew can watch.
Yes, they are. Actually, there's not really a story behind them, but they are proof that advertising works. Because there was a guy I found. I just sort of stumbled across him on Instagram, where he said he was from New Zealand, and all he did was he installed tractor tires. I think you know what? I think it's Laz Go Bang. So shout out to Laz Go Bang on Instagram. But he advertised, or they sponsored him, and I was like, those actually look sick. And then I kept seeing them over and over and over again. And I kind of like big, douchey, ugly. The camera doesn't. It keeps focusing.
I was just gonna say the camera.
The camera hates them. But I like big, douchey sunglasses, and I was like, those are kind of the proper douche that I'm looking for. They're also called Too Savage, so like that's even better. And it's an Australian company. I'm now getting emails and advertisements for them, and this is the kind of advertisements that I want. I'll read the ad that I found in my inbox today. It says, "You rat bag, you need these fire." And then there was just an ad for these again. I was like, I am a rat bag.
Did you buy a second pair just because of that marketing?
No, but because of we both know of my collection of stuff problem.
Yeah.
They do have, you can buy 3 and you get like a discount on all 3. So they were like $80 Canadian, which isn't actually too bad. You can buy 3 for like 200. And I was like, I'm going to buy 1. And then if I like them, I'm going to buy another 3.
Right. Have you wore them out in public?
Yes, I got them last week. Actually, it was
stairs.
You know what's dumb? I'll admit this. I want people to look at them to be like, "Ooh, what are those?" But I haven't noticed. I was standing out in the yard the other day, and I heard this on an Instagram reel, so I'm gonna steal it. It was actually Anna Kendrick who said it, but she said that she was 5 milligrams relaxed. But because I'm a non-lightweight, I was about 90 milligrams relaxed. And my neighbor came over and we were talking about something, and we just had like a normal, like an adult conversation about like the weather and yards and stuff like that. And I was wearing these the whole time, and I didn't realize it till after. And I was like, man, Doug didn't comment on how cool I was. I was like, what am I even doing?
It's probably because he was thinking the opposite.
Probably. But I was like, these probably hid the fact, at least physically, that I was
90
relaxed.
milligrams.
90
deep.
milligrams relaxed.
Yeah.
I'll just plug them up here. There.
They're distracting as fuck, I'll tell you that.
They are.
We were talking about that before we started recording, and like we can see all your monitors, and it kind of looks like you're in Night City, I believe it's called, in Cyberpunk.
It's kind of John Wicky when you look at them like that. Just with
Yeah.
like the neon lights and stuff.
They're pretty cool. You're probably gonna have me have a set.
Oh, I'd love. Hey, Too Savage, yo, hook us up with a sponsorship. That'd be fucking.
That's a great
sick.
point. I listen to Tim Dillon, and sometimes when I watch his video feed, he always has big glasses on. So you just kind of remind me of Tim Dillon just going off.
Yeah, sure, that works for me. I'll take it. So that's the crazy opener. I do have actually multiple new things to kind of show off today because, as we both know, I like buying.
Is this
shit.
show and tell episode 20?
Seems to be. Yeah, episode 20, show and tell. All the dumb shit Kyle buys when he needs to buy other things. So remember the backpack from a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
So Princess Auto is turning out to be apparently my favorite photography store for some reason. My wife and I went there to get a wheelbarrow the other day because apparently I'm an adult and need shit like that now. And I was just perusing their website before I went there to see if they had anything cool. And they had oh, come on, focus on it. Do it. You'll do it. I know you will. I think I
If
have
you
to
don't focus,
There we go.
If you don't focus, we're going to Sony.
We're going back to Sony. So it's a 24 to 105 mug, and I thought it was perfect for.
What goes in there?
Oh, what goes in there, you ask? Well, I'm gonna put my. There you go, twisted tea right in there.
Is that a slight? No, that's not slightly sweetened. And you're not on those yet.
No, I'm a. If anything, I'm like an extra sugar guy. I want like maximum sweetness.
You don't find it a little acidic?
I wouldn't say so. I did. My wife tends to like the Nestle iced teas or the Arizonas or the Peace teas, and they're like a softer one. I think she doesn't. I think she doesn't like the brisk for the reason that it is kind of acidic, or like, I don't know. Has a bit
it
of
does
an
get
edge.
you. Yeah, it has a bit of an edge. It just gets you after a while. It gives me heartburn, but or indigestion. But the slightly sweetened, I think we talked about this a few times. It's just a little lighter, you know.
It is your jam.
It's my jam.
You've been shooting a weird lens recently. Oh, I guess to finish the show and tell. This is all visual, by the way, like audio podcast. Okay, for the audio podcast, these sunglasses are the kind where it's kind of one lens all the way across, and they're neon pink on the lenses, and the frames are black. So that's cool if you want to visual. They're called Too Savage sunglasses. I don't remember the model name. I should probably if I want to get sponsored by them. I don't know. It doesn't say on them. But actually, one of the cool things about them is they write you a little like positive note on the inside of the sunglass box. I don't have it with me, but I think it said like follow your dreams or something like that. So I guess it's a good.
And look at you now.
Yeah, we're doing a podcast together. My dream. So I'm following them.
The latest. Sponsor us. I like that idea.
Sponsor us, Too Savage. Shouts to Too Savage.
Australian
company. There was no tariffs to worry about, so we're all fucking set there.
Boom.
Yeah, right on. I got a new boom arm, so my mic won't be. Not that you guys ever found it annoying, but it was kind of annoying for me in certain cases. But this is a lot more stable. Short story. Was doing research on arms in general. I need new arms. I bought a broken mic stand because I thought I could fix it, and it was like a third the price, and it came with another microphone. I don't really enjoy the other microphone. I tried it just to test it out, but I didn't think I would use it actually on the pod because I like this one better. But I was able to fix it with a piece of paracord, and she functions excellently now.
There you go. Their loss, your gain.
I actually sent the guy a picture. I said,
"Oh, you just rubbed it in." You're like, "Hey, check this out."
You fucking idiot! You should have fixed it.
A 6-inch piece of paracord, and we're good.
Literally, it was like this big. But yeah, I said that I might, if he was interested, I'd send him because he tried to fix it and like couldn't. I was like, yeah, I'll see if I can figure it out. And then I was like, I'll send you a picture if I can figure it out. He's like, yeah, sure. Yeah, man. So then I forgot.
Like, I'm never hearing back from this guy.
Yeah, he was probably just making. Oh, another funny thing is like, I wanted to look at it first. So we're standing on his porch, and I'm like looking at it, and I'm holding it, and I'm the microphone in one hand and the arm in the other hand. I'm like, oh yeah, cool, man, thanks. And I turn around to leave. He's like, the money, and I was like, oh right, that was my portion of this process that I totally forgot about.
Did you have these neon pink glasses on at the time?
No, they were probably on a plane between, but that would have been really funny. Be like,
yeah,
fuck you, and then just like walk away. This straight theft. No, but yeah, I was like, oh shit, sorry, man. So then I paid him and then took it home. But yeah, I fixed it. Essentially, there's a cable that runs through it, which attaches to a spring at the bottom, and it there's a little hook that grabs on the end of the spring. And I was like, I can probably make a new hook. So I was able to I took the inside. This is really boring, but I took the inside out of the paracord, wrapped it around, and was able to tie a loop with some invented knots that I decided to come up with, and put it back together, and it was sweet.
There you go. Perfect.
Bob's my uncle.
There you go.
Good old Uncle Bob. So where I was going with all that was, you've been shooting a weird lens for you, and I'm actually finding it fascinating.
Very briefly. very briefly. I
It's
always
still
heard a
back
lot
there.
of. It is. It is. It's actually back here. I've heard a lot of BS around this lens about how it doesn't focus or anything on Canon adapted. It is the Sigma 150-600 contemporary, and I can confirm that that is not a lie.
That it doesn't focus.
It's the thing about this thing is this is a super fan of the show Keith's lens. He's going away, I think,
Shouts to
to
Keith.
Arizona and Utah. I'm sure that's where the Grand Canyon is. It's down that way.
I believe
Yeah.
it's somewhere down
Yeah.
there.
So he's going
I
down
should
there,
know.
and I don't think he asked. I think it just offered, and I said, "Hey, do you want to take the 100-400? Like, it's a great little travel lens. If you see any wildlife there, like that's a great little lens to have with you." So he's like, "Yeah, sure." And then I'm just sitting here contemplating. I'm like, "Do I really want to put my hat in the ring and attempt to shoot an adapted Sigma?" So I am, and I actually think like the optics and the sharpness is actually pretty good. I don't think I've heard many people say that it's not. I think a lot of people say it's probably one of your better bangs for your buck. But I do think it's a DSLR lens. Like it does so much little micro adjustment focusing when you finally if you're using eye tracking and you're using that subject detection, it kind of pulses back and forth when it has acquired, which will give you a very, very low hit rate. But what I've actually done is I use it because it acquires the subject pretty well. But what I notice is once it starts dropping on and off, I have an AF hold button, which actually stops the tracking.
Yep.
And then I just kind of compose, and yeah, you miss a few shots if the bird turns or that depth of field changes a little bit, depending if the bird's a little bit bigger. You know, if it does like a 4-inch swing, you could have an out of focus face, but the hit rate seems to be a lot better than the lens doing it on its own. So that's not a myth. It's definitely a lens that I think will open people's eyes when they finally go native. And they're like, "Oh wow, like autofocus is actually this good." Like, you know what I mean? Like, because even the
Yep.
800 back there, it really is so much more superior when it comes to autofocus. I know you didn't really. It's not that you didn't like it. You didn't appreciate the acquisition, the acquiring of your subject was a little slow at times. Kind of racked a little bit, but this doesn't rack nearly as much. It micro focuses, and that's the biggest issue because you're sitting there and you're just hammering out bursts, and you think everything's good, and then you go to revise them in the back of the camera, and 80% of them are not sharp. That's I think the issue that I think a lot of people have experienced with this thing.
Yeah, and I think that's like I don't know if Dwayne Payton found that issue, but he definitely highlighted it with his platform to be able to kind of talk about it. I don't have that same experience with it, but I had that lens, the 150-6 contemporary, on my 7D Mark II, and I have some for me excellent shots that I really like that came out of that combo, and on a DSLR, like it's great. And I spent a bunch of time in my driveway on multiple occasions because on a DSLR you used to have to adjust the focus in like at different lengths in case the focus mirror or sensor or whatever was different than the sensor itself. So like they have software and a dock that you can adjust all that. So I spent a lot of time with it, adjusting it, and I had it all dialed. And I got some decent shots, like of flying stuff, of perched things, of bugs, of turtles, all sorts of stuff. And then when I made the jump to Sony, I was like, oh, they have an EF to E adapter, so I'll just use this Sigma. And then I had it I took it out like 3 times, and I was like, this is insane. Like, this doesn't work. It was probably a little different than Canon, since Canon and Sony focus differently, and it would be different algorithms and stuff, I imagine, but it did pulse, it did look, it often racked through a subject, so it wouldn't even stop there. Even if like you saw it, even like, because at that point it was with my Sony A7R III, which didn't have the best autofocus in it anyway. Like it didn't have eye tracking or anything, but I would be like, focus somewhere in this box, and it would be like, nah, It might rack
Yeah.
past it, come back, and then eventually kind of stop and then wiggle around like you've experienced. So I get that.
And with birds, we know that's that split second that you lose is the opportunity's gone.
Yep.
And that's kind of why I moved from Fuji, because it was kind of like a single shot focus, hold, recompose, and that's kind of what I'm doing with this. And what it's kind of bringing me back mentally is like to a time where I worked slower and more diligently,
Okay.
which
That's
is
a good-
which is kind of interesting too, because I think a lot of the times there's the subject and all I'm really focusing on is the subject in the open, unobstructed and sharp, and the camera takes care of the sharpness portion of it. So like I'm not really like mentally in the game nearly as much as if I was like, okay, I need to get this shot and I need to focus. I need to put all the technique into it. So it has allowed me to slow down a little bit and think about a few things that I'm probably overlooking when I am shooting something that's so, automated as the newer stuff.
Yeah. That's an interesting point. And and I think most of the 12 listeners would know this by now, but when I was shooting the Sigma 60 to 600, I don't know why it was better, but it definitely didn't micro pulse as
That could be
much.
that could be the sport.
Yeah,
Like I think the sport motors and in the autofocus are better.
it would be, but I don't know if there's any software differences or just the motor. Like that lens did focus quicker than I remember the contemporary focusing, but the it didn't micro hunt as much. It did a little bit. But if it was mostly with an obscured subject or something that was too small or
Sure.
something like that. But if you're
So
like,
a situation you could understand to a degree.
yeah, like
Yeah.
if you're putting it in a difficult situation, it struggled. If it was like there's nothing, if it was like a duck on the water with nothing else around it, it would be on the duck.
Right.
And I know that like Dwayne himself has published settings that help kind of stifle it a little bit, but I don't think there's ever been a setting on anything that fully nerfed that. So
I think you'd need to like dive deep so much and figure out what settings need to be for each individual setting. Like I think it's a different setting for when you're shooting over water and you're shooting shorebirds or ducks, or if you're shooting under a canopy with a bunch of leaves and darker shadows and areas. Like I think there's going to be a specific setting to adjust to. It's not going to be like with these lenses, like it's set it once and almost forget it, and almost all scenarios. I find a lot of the lenses I use, I know the better ones have the limit switch and the panning switch and all the extra things, but a lot of the times with this thing, like you just set your case, you set your settings and your sensitivities, and you don't have to touch it that much. We're almost taking it for granted. And it's not a terrible experience. I think it actually has really good aesthetics, and I like the look of it, and I like the fall off, and I like having the ability of 6.3 at times. I know I've been like, Kyle, was it really matter? Because you're like, I want a 600 6.3, but 6.3 in a tight spot does help out better than a f11, even though I can make it happen. With my f11, all I'm doing is I'm just positioning myself slightly different in the field.
yep.
That's all it is. Like, you have to consider what you're using and where you're going to position yourself to be successful with a specific lens. And this one just caters to being a little bit closer and a little bit more in the action, especially with the ability to zoom in and out, comparing it to the 800 f11 anyway.
Yep. And yeah, I guess that when you were talking about the fall off and stuff, I was like, I told you so. But you admitted it, so I don't have to.
Yeah, I mean, I did shoot a 400 5.6 for like 2 years, 3 years, so I get it. You do soon forget it. But it is interesting because I was talking to Keith about it, and he said I really should get the 200 800. Like that would just solve not having the 100 400 and keeping the Sigma and having the 800. Just have that one lens. And I said, but you got to be careful because down the pipeline there's rumors of a 150 600 5.6L.
Yeah. The last letter there.
It's gonna be expensive.
Yes. Yes, it is.
But what is it going to be expensive? Is it going to be 5,500 or is it going to be 7,500 or 8? I don't see it being 8. Like, look at when the 100 500 came out, it was 3,800. I could see
That's
it
true.
being 5. I could see it being 5,000. That's not terrible when you consider what a 150 600 5.6 could be.
I've also heard it that because the problem with these rumors is you'll get doubles or Canon will patent a bunch of lenses that are all kind of similar focal lengths
And pick one.
and pick one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've also heard that the 150 my cat is just underneath me causing a ruckus. He's biting on the cable that's over there.
Second episode in a row.
Yeah, he's a pain. He's great, but he's also a pain. That lens could be Canon's sort of answer to Sigma's 300 to 600, and it could be a 300 to 600 5.6 to kind of replace their old 200 to 400 f4. So like, because they don't have an equivalent to that lens on mirrorless yet, people have to adapt that one.
Yeah.
So it's
Which still works. It works well adapted at least.
Yeah, a lot of the V2 EFs work really well.
Yeah.
You'd hope so if you spent like 5 digits on a lens.
Oh yeah.
You're like, please.
I feel like
I feel
like the non. I guess it's EF still non-native, but
it's weird.
The third party lenses, it's almost like they just kind of have this hidden algorithm where there's like, we're just gonna fuck with you a little bit. We could make it good, but we're just gonna make it just be a little frustrating. So you either buy older glass or keep older glass or upgrade to some of this RF stuff's pretty expensive. Not Sony. What's that lens that I was complaining about?
Oh, the 4 to 8.
No, it's Tamron has a similar lens for way cheaper.
Oh, it's the 150 to 500, the 6.7.
No, it's like a 35 150 or something.
Oh, they have that. Yeah. And then they have
It's like $5,500, and then Tamron has one for like 2,200.
Oh yeah, Sony's yeah. I know what you're talking about now. It's a something to 150. I don't remember where it starts, but yeah. Sony's is like $5,000 and Tamron's is like 1.
Yeah, so it's not Sony bad, but it's still expensive.
Yeah, I've been real happy with the 2 to 8. Like
it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I have really nothing to complain about.
A hot take though, although I don't think it's a hot take, but I think the 150 600 Sigma is just as sharp as the 200 800.
I would say so.
At minimum focus distance. Like there's a big, and that's not stopping down either. A lot of people are like, that sweet spot of that lens is f8.
Yep.
Like this one behind me. I've only been trying to shoot it at 6.3 to kind of figure out where it's good and where it's bad. The only thing I've really found is like minimum focus distance is important. Getting as close as possible to that. I think it's 9 feet. I think that's pretty close. It's 600. And
9.6 or something.
Yeah, exactly. And then the focus is the kind of downfall.
Have you tried using more conventional focus without like eye tracking or anything to see if it did better?
It works fine. Yeah, it works fine.
So it's only when you engage the eye tracking that it's doing its like pulsy.
It's specifically eye tracking. Even like subject tracking is not as bad. But when it's really looking for that eye, which I'm so used to not having that autofocus joystick like I did on the R10, on the R8, like it's gone. The algorithm of the autofocus just figures it out so well that I've got so accustomed to that. But like, yeah, you take that off, the subject tracking's better. The problem with that is like when you're working minimum focus distance and then you just have subject tracking, like all it's kind of looking at is the body. So like the edge of the outer part of the wing or a breast.
Oh, the close
compared
part.
to where the eye is. Yeah, that fall off can cause it to be soft.
You have a sharp back and a blurry eyeball and beak.
Yeah. Especially if you get into like a thrush-sized kind of,
Something
a
sort of
chickadee,
larger.
something like that. Maybe not, unless it's kind of head on.
You need like paper birds. Just like
Yeah.
two-dimensional
Yeah,
birds.
two-dimensional birds, exactly. So it's not a completely terrible experience. But it's what I expected, unfortunately.
Yeah, you've heard a
with
lot
the
about it
focus.
in media.
And I rarely say go get that lens. If anybody ever says I'm looking at the 150-600 or I'm looking at the 100-400, like especially if they're shooting APS-C, I go get the 100-400. Like that's the smartest choice. It's
Yep.
hard to, and now I've kind of confirmed that I probably wouldn't recommend that unless you could get it for like $400. If you could pick up the Sigma for $400 or $500 just as an extra lens or something to give you 6.3 like Kyle enjoys,
Yes.
it's not terrible. It's not a terrible pickup, but just understand that you're not shooting it the same way that you're shooting your other lenses that are native.
It occurred to me while we were talking about that my dentist's kid is using that lens on his R6 Mark II, which is functionally the same as the R8. So he's probably having
Yeah.
the same issues with it,
Yeah.
which is interesting to me.
It's
Yes.
interesting that someone would shoot an R6 Mark II and only have a Sigma 150-600. That seems backwards.
I think the camera purchase was purchased first, and then the interest in birds started.
Got into it. Okay.
Yeah. So then they were like, "We need a
I'll let it
lens for that."
slide. If the dentist listens, I apologize. I'll let it slide.
Yeah, sorry, Kyle. His name's Kyle, because why wouldn't it be?
Everyone's a Kyle or a Matt.
Pretty much. Yep. That's the only two names that are around anymore.
But that does make sense. There's usually a sense of something, and I just jump to conclusions that guy's an idiot.
if he's a Kyle or Matt.
And I don't think that's the case. I think it's just that he got into birds after having the R6 II. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he had that first and then went, "Oh, we need a lens for birds now."
Yeah. That's
And then like if you search least expensive bird lens or something like that, it's going to come up.
Sure.
And then an adapter. And then people like without looking at Dwade's videos or listening to this podcast, they're going
I should just stop being so fucking judgmental.
Well, it's part of your charm.
It's the Angry Bird Pod
It's the
show for a
Angry-
reason.
Like, "Oh, fuck that guy. What the hell?"
I
is he
was
doing
thinking today, and I'm like, when we rebrand this thing, like, why didn't we go with lunatics or something? You know what I mean?
that? Oh, that'd have been good. Shoot. We come up with better stuff in the middle of this.
Well, we didn't think we'd actually do this more than 2 episodes.
And the symbol is a loon, for crying out loud.
That's what made me think about it. Because I
Lunatics.
think the first time I said the Angry Bird Pod show, you're like, are we going to get sued? And I said,
Yeah.
I hope so, because that means we got big enough.
Yeah. So, in case anyone's wondering, that's our goal.
Yeah.
To step. But my counterpoint was like, if we ever have a store, I would just point the store URL to the Angry Birds game merch store.
Yeah.
Like, we're advertising for you. So that
Trying
should
to make
cover
the extra
it.
money, guys.
Yeah, exactly. But it's interesting. Like, I think this is a scenario. It kind of that makes me feel good. But I had this lens. You talked about it. I have experienced all this already from my gas problem and buying and selling things. And I'm like, yeah, I know all that.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because I've like, this isn't news. It's cool that you learned it for first.
I learned it on mirrorless. Like I had it for my 5D Mark III. So like, it's not like it's a new lens to me. It's just kind of new on the
mirrorless
newer.
side. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like picking up a 5D. Every once in a while I find one or someone's got.
Chunky.
Yeah.
It's chunky.
They're a
It really is.
monster.
And the battery lasts like 8 days.
Yeah. Like I'll go shooting with Craig sometimes and he'll be like, "Yeah, I don't know when the last time I charged this was." And I was like, "I was yesterday and I didn't even use it. I just
Yeah,
kept it on my desk."
A D500?
The D500 with the 60 to 600.
Right. That's chunky.
That's a beefcake of a setup, but like it's a good setup still. Like,
Oh yeah.
as far as DSLRs go, you can't do a ton better than the D500 for wildlife and sports.
Yeah. Wonder how many people went from the D500 to the Z5 II recently. I haven't heard a lot about that camera. I only know one person with it, Dave.
I heard a lot about it. Oh, did I tell you about the guy? I think I've talked about it before. My buddy George, who used to work with at
Yeah.
my last place.
4.5, 400 4.5.
Yeah, so he's got a Z8 and a 4.5. But I think I've mentioned it, but he doesn't like how much money is sitting there. He's like, if I could get away with having a less expensive setup, I might want to. So the Z5 II was calling him because he had a the Z50 the crop sensor one, because he had the first Z50 and really liked it. Sold it to try something else because he arguably has worse of whatever that is, gas and trying things than I do. But he just has more money because he's older and almost retired.
Right.
And but anyway, he found a Z50 Mark II online for a decent price, and it was like, I'm gonna buy this to try it next to my Z8, and so like I'll know kind of where I'm losing out, where I might be. Is the cost difference worth it for what I would be losing? And he's like, after a weekend, I was like, I'm keeping the Z8. Like, that thing's amazing. Like, this Z50 is great, but it's not a Z8.
I would have been concerned if he thought the Z50 would, it can't even hold its jock strap, in my opinion. Like, when you have the Z8, like, that's a really top quality camera. Like, I think I'd rather have the Z8 over the Z9.
I like the little. It's still, Z8 feels like a 5D. Like, it's the same chunk, but it's not the like bottom grip chunk. It's like a normal chunk.
I like how it's this little smaller battery. It's a little bit lighter camera. You still have most of all the features. You get that. I want that auto capture.
I don't think I would use that, but I still have, I don't know. It's when someone gets a picture of wildlife with auto capture, I'm like, that is a bird or wildlife picture. But I think part of the, at least for me, the allure of it is being there also with the thing. And if you're just leaving it in a marsh.
But what if I don't like write in my caption that I used auto capture? Like, what if I wasn't transparent? What if I just went, here's my photo?
Yeah.
That's what I do now.
Yeah.
And I don't have auto capture, so I'm behind the thing. But like, what if I left it in my duck blind, which by the way was not full of ants?
That's good.
We'll get into that in a minute. But
yeah,
what if I left it in there and got a bunch of photos and then posted them and they were great? Like, I think that ruins your experience, but like, I don't know if it ruins a viewing experience.
It doesn't ruin a viewing experience, and I think that's the difference. So if someone who's consuming art just wants to see a pretty bird picture, that would be great for them. And I don't think they care about they may not care about the experience or the story about getting it, trekking half a mile into the woods, up in hills both ways, and blah blah blah. But at least for the shooting experience for me, the picture, as I've said before, is the cherry on the experience. So like, being there for me is part of it. So if I'm not going to be there, I'm not going to get personally satisfaction out of seeing or posting those pictures.
And I fully agree. Like, just kind of being devil's advocate here. Like,
yeah.
I totally with you. I'd rather be behind the camera. That's why I enjoy doing what I do, as a hobby. But I liked saying it. Like, that's why I enjoy doing what I do. Like, I was a professional. Like, I do this. Like, I do this for a living.
Totally.
This is why I enjoy doing this. It's why I'm the luckiest man in the world.
Should we is that the thing? We just got to start acting like we're...
Fake it till you make it.
But what if you never make it? You just fake it the entire time.
Just make sure they write a good obituary about you. Just to seal it, just to confirm it.
On my headstone, I wanted to say, fake it, never made it.
Oh, just like this big joke. Your final caption is just a ba-dum.
Yeah. That's honestly like the best way to like end. It's just a ba-dum.
Well, we might get there.
I think being humans, we know we are going to get there. I think that's part of the thing.
Oh, the death part?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we'll get there.
Death comes for us all, unfortunately.
Yeah,
this is getting morbid.
No one wins.
But you didn't get killed by ants, so that's good.
No, there was no ants. The blind worked exceptionally well. There's two parts to this. The first, that morning, the Saturday morning after we recorded the last podcast, I went out, got there before the sun came up, got into it. About 20 minutes into it, my back started to hurt. I knew it was going to. I made it big enough that I could roll over on my back and kind of like just hang out on my phone. And then I heard great horned owls calling from the forest. Mm-hmm. Not one, but two. And I knew there was one there, but apparently there is a pair. And right at sunrise, just before the sun came out, they flew right across the pond, right up into a tree right in front of me, about, I don't know, 150 yards across the pond. And I just watched the sunrise with these two for like an hour. It was great.
See, you don't get that with the freaking auto capture. Like that, you miss that.
Well, I'm not out there. Yeah, you're right. You set the camera up and you're not there, and
Right.
the camera wouldn't have caught it either. Like I got
No.
a snapshot of it, but it's not a photograph by any means.
But like I
to
watched
share.
your face light up when you said that. And like you
was
don't get
amazing.
that. You don't get that when you're not there for it.
That you are right. It's the cherry on top. That's
Yeah.
why I'm out there. I'm out there because like I like hearing the robins deafening the area first.
Yep.
And then after that you hear maybe a northern house wren. I got to get it right.
When did they change that?
Everything's northern.
Okay.
It was recently in the last couple months. Everything's northern.
I've seen that as on bird stuff. I'm like, what is
Yeah.
northern house wren? That's fair.
Song sparrows. You start to hear those birds, and then you start to hear the thrush, the other thrushes, the wood thrushes, the hermits wake up. Like I enjoy that so much, and that's part of the experience. And that was part of putting the blind out there to be kind of hidden and part of the world waking up out there.
Amongst.
And yeah, it worked out. I think I might have missed the window a little bit on the regular ducks. I think there's some ducks that are still visiting the area. The first spot that I had it, I moved it from there because the grass grew about probably 8 inches overnight.
Crazy.
Like
the
it
marsh
just grew
grasses.
yeah, it grew like crazy. I couldn't believe it. So that's when I saw the great horned owls. I hung out with them. I let them do their thing. I gave them enough time just to relax in the sun. Then I got out, and as I got out, the male took off. Like, hey, come after me. The female's still sitting in the tree. I start to drag the blind over, 25 yards over to another area where the grasses aren't as tall, and she finally takes off. I try to get back in the blind. I do for a little bit. 3 female hooded mergansers come in, no males. They come in pretty close to within minimum focus distance. The light's semi decent. Then they take off and it's quiet for a bit. So I go for a walk. I let the thing just cool down, just let them get used to it. As I'm walking back, heading back to the car, and about an hour later, there's like 4 ducks in front of it, just preening and hanging out. And I'm like, okay, this is gonna work. So I didn't get a ton of shots that day, but like the experiences and kind of what I expected the blind to bring me is definitely there. That opportunity's still there. I just think it might be like a fall thing, or again next year, early spring. I might have missed that window, and it's kind of all doom and gloom in my opinion right now because I've missed a window now on a lot of things. Spring warbler spring migration in general, I think, is almost over.
Yeah, I have a little time tomorrow morning, so I was like thinking about maybe going somewhere, but I was like, is everything gone now? Like
I wouldn't say it's gone. I think it's harder now. The leaves are all full. Everything is thick. That prime shooting window is gone, and now it's just all doom and gloom in my opinion, because it goes from this to nesting, and when it's nesting and it's the heat of the summer,
there's
like
nothing.
you see nothing. That's when I end up going out on the kayak. And I'll go find some wading birds. I'll go find loons. Yeah, stuff like that. But it starts to get the dog days of summer, and like we're out of that, kind of exiting that transition zone of spring, where it's like stick photography into like buds and stuff like that. And now it's full leaves, and it's tough. I don't know if anybody listening, I'm sure a few, I don't know how many people are warbler shooters, but it gets really tough once those leaves are out. You're fighting against just finding these small little pockets to even see them.
Yesterday, I came home and this isn't really inside baseball, but it's been raining for like 2 days, pretty much straight.
Yeah.
But I still take my little dog for a walk when I get home from work, and just farting around the park. I see stuff in there occasionally. I've talked about it before, but yesterday I saw like 3 different. I didn't bring my camera because it's not weather resistant really, but I definitely saw a bay-breasted warbler. I heard yellows. I heard other stuff chirping that I didn't recognize immediately, but I was like, it's raining, and I wouldn't normally choose to shoot in that, but I was like, I should have, because there's fucking shit out here.
Yeah, like think about like Vancouver when it rains like 300 days a year. Like the birds still need to eat.
That's true.
They're still gonna bird.
Yeah, birds are still gonna bird. But yeah, I was like, why is it in the day that I don't bring my camera that I see like three things? That's the way it is usually, but
Yeah.
it's annoying when
Yeah.
you realize it.
Did you say you were going out yesterday or tomorrow?
I have a little time in the morning.
Yeah, I have a bit of time as well.
I was going to go walk around this park that seemed to be a warbler kind of hotspot, just because it's close to where my appointment is. But I'm not sure I will if it's raining or not. So we'll find out.
Yeah,
It'll be a game time decision in the morning.
your camera won't melt.
It won't melt. I know it won't melt, but
It's not made of sugar.
it's not the Wicked Witch of the West or whatever. I
Well,
melted.
inside baseball, Kyle and I were talking about me convincing Kyle to go out and shoot in the rain, but he doesn't like that his Canon R8 doesn't have a gasket in the battery door.
Well, okay. So weeks ago, we were shooting somewhere, and my buddy Will was laying down next to the water, and he put his backpack down, was shooting with one of his cameras. Then a couple minutes later, he realized that his front was getting wet, and he looked over, and his bag was like an inch or two under the water because I guess the water level had rose for some reason, and it landed on where his R8 was in his bag. It got wet, and like he opened the door, the car door, the door underneath, and water fell out. And but that actually was fine. He had to get it wouldn't turn on. Took it home, let it dry for a while. It turned back on, but the back screen didn't work. So then he sent it in and he had the back screen fixed. So I was like, I guess technically, functionally speaking, the camera could have taken pictures. But like, now that I only have one camera, this one, I'm using it for this. I use it for when I go shooting. Like I don't have another one. When I still had the R7, I could kind of get away with maybe treating one a little worse. So it's just, and I don't necessarily have the disposable income to just be like, well, it's broke, so I need to pay for it to be fixed or buy another one. Unless I do some wallet work.
I mean, that kind of goes back to, I know this isn't your case. It's probably not my case either, but that goes back to me thinking like, I'm going to shoot something that if something catastrophic like that does happen, I don't take any precautions when I'm out on my kayak with the loon.
No.
Like I fully expect one day as a advanced kayaker, like I feel very confident out there that something could happen and I could lose everything. And that's why I don't shoot a R5.2 or an R3 or something. Like I have the credit. I could definitely go get it. I could go waste my money. I could go take some money out of the line of credit. I could do what a lot of people do, but like I feel confident that if something happened to this kit, like I could replace it a second time.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't just absolutely kill me. I'm not saying go out and be like completely absurd and neglect the damn thing, but I love shooting in rain. I think that's kind of the thing. I would rather go shoot in rain and keep that hand towel that I suggested and kind of wipe it off once in a while versus not.
You know what's kind of funny? One of the pictures that I have pinned on my Instagram is of a day where my camera got soaked.
Right. That kingfisher.
This kingfisher.
Oh, you set it up so you can see.
I did.
Hey.
So this day, it was like snowy wetness. It was in the winter, but it was like, it wasn't snow or rain. It was exactly in the middle of both. And that lens and that camera got wet, but they were both supposed to be weather sealed and nothing was a problem. So that one I didn't really worry about it, but I would worry about this kit. But this is proof that I can get a good shot in the rain and still be.
Yeah. I mean, I shot my R10 and 100/400 in like steady rain in Algonquin in the kayak, I don't know. I just think you just got to be smart about it and just wipe it off once in a while.
No, that's fair. And remember, like the day that you were in your blind, the last weekend or dust. Anyway, I went to that marsh I was speaking about, and it kind of drizzled on and off while I was there for the morning. And when it was drizzling, I just put it in my sweater and just and just kind of held it there. And then when there was one time where it got a little heavier. I just stood under a tree.
I've been there.
Yeah, I was just hugging my lens under a tree.
For
like,
sure.
But
that's the kind of thinking that you need. Like, when it's raining too hard. Like, when it's getting too wet. With Will, that was just a situation where he didn't realize that it was in an inch or two of water, and when it's submerged, like, I don't know many cameras out there that are submersible.
No, that's true.
Without a what do you call those? A housing.
Yeah.
But like, you just got to kind of keep that same kind of general thinking when you're out there shooting in those conditions to go, it's getting a little wet. I'm going to give it a break. I'm going to dry it out a bit. Yeah. You can still enjoy it. But I understand if you don't want to take that chance. It's just, you're I don't know.
Yeah.
You spend less money to save money, but it's also like, these cameras are also worth a lot less. So like, you can always replace them, I guess.
Yeah. And like, I did like shooting in the wet because the wildlife acts differently and stuff. So it's like,
yeah, definitely.
You get unique opportunities.
Too. You'll get like the wicking water, like on the feathers, and it creates different patterns and textures, and they kind of look. Kyle Swanson showed me a photo when I told him that your camera was going to melt, and he has the exact same one, and he goes, "Yeah, mine's melting really bad." And he showed me this back of the screen camera, this dripping wet eastern bluebird, and like the textures on the feathers are so gorgeous, and you're just like, that's such a moody photo that I want to go out and like, that's the type of, I want to see a grasshopper sparrow with the same kind of just damp wetness to it.
Yeah,
something that I don't typically see, as Kyle shows his Sony here.
So that was the day I took the kingfisher picture, so you can see that it was wet. It wasn't that wet, but it was wet.
But even the 100-400 could take that. Just got to wipe it off.
Yeah, it's true.
The biggest issue you have is if you don't dry them out properly, you're going to get moisture in them because they're not sealed as good as others. So that's something that is a down the road issue. So
yeah,
storing it in a bag with it a little like damp or moist,
Yeah, I feel like, and I also feel like I would. Ooh, okay, all right. Wheels are turning. So. I was going to say, I feel like a lens that's externally zooming, you have more of a chance of pulling water in when you're zooming back in.
Yeah.
So that would be an advantage. So
sure,
if I use that little section of the Roland Pro to prevent me from doing that, maybe then it would prevent water from sitting on that section of barrel when I did take it off and wind it in. And that would give me a chance to wipe it real quick.
Yeah. Is it a separate section that you just Velcro on?
Yeah.
Because I know there's another one that's like an accordion style fabric. That would probably be a little bit better because it wouldn't have that drip edge potentially where.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that's where the water's not coming in from the barrel. The water's going to come in from right in those edges where it's not going to be covered with the Roland Pro anyway. Right
where the lens will cut in half or will snap in half. That's where the water will come in.
That every 200, 800 group that I'm part of is worried about.
Yeah.
There's people in there reassuring that it's isolated, which it certainly is. But
well, it's funny because there was even a Jan Wagner and Dwayne did a little podcast, and the first thing that they said on that one was like, "Hey, is your 200 to 800 okay? Is it snapped in half?" And they're both like, "No, mine's fine."
Yeah, because they're not delinquents.
That's debatable, but at least they're not treating their lenses like shit.
There's something that the others definitely are.
But it's funny, like I've heard some stories. People are like, "Yeah, it snapped in half." But I was in the Antarctic and it may have I dropped it in the snow and it banged off a Jeep and like stuff like that.
People have been like, I'm so mad that my lens broke in half when it dropped off my desk on my hardwood.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a lot of the times that was a front element being broken. That was even on professional glass. Like that shit happens, man. Like
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, when I was in, I went back to the spot with the duck hide. I wasn't in it this time. I went with Gary, my buddy Gary, and Keith. That's when we did the lens swap. I'm driving home on my way, I'm getting itchy already, and I feel something on my neck,
Oh no.
and I'm driving, and this big dirty reddish brown, just wood tick though. It wasn't
Okay.
like the female deer tick. Just crawling around my neck. A big dirty one. Like I googled it at first. I'm like, we don't have those. It looked like a big Lone Star,
Oh.
and I'm like, no, we don't have Lone Star ticks. So it must have been a wood tick, but it was big and dirty.
The wood ticks are bigger than the deers for sure.
Yeah, this was like the size of like a chunky black fly.
I thought you were gonna say like a pumpkin seed. Just like,
Oh shit! No, that's huge. I would have burnt my car.
yeah. Just burn your car down. Like, well, I'm like,
So I told you
can't.
it was going to happen. That was the first one of the year. First one
Yeah.
I've seen at that spot. I know they're there now. I'm pissed. It's all doom and gloom. Migration's over. Ticks are out. It's all fucked.
Fucking summer's here.
I'm shooting a 150-600. I can't fucking focus.
Yeah, it's a rough patch for
This has
you.
been 2 weeks. 2 weeks and everything just changes. Appreciate the good times, everyone.
Well, you've got some good shots recently. Like, have you posted
No,
any
I'm
of them
kidding.
from the?
Just a shitty chip and sparrow one that I got on some crabapple tree in my backyard. Oh, there it is. I just kind of like.
I didn't cue that up at all.
I don't like how it's a little left justified. I do like
Yeah.
the background. The head tilt's nice. There was a big shadow going through the bird that I removed. You don't get that on my captions, but if you listen to the pod, you get transparency up the ass. You know what I mean?
Transparency up the ass.
That's the name of the episode.
That's the name of the episode. Transparency up the ass.
Anyway, someone thinks it's pretty. Oh, that's my mother-in-law. And then Hannah Reese said, so beautiful. Oh, that's nice.
I do like
But
the
yeah.
head tilt.
It is a cute little head tilt. That was just in my backyard. I was messing around. That's near MFD. On my computer, the details in it, like I was actually pretty surprised.
Yeah.
You can't see on that. It's compressed. It's shit. But
Leave
we
my
need a new
recording
platform.
software.
No, I'm saying in general. You go look on Instagram natively, and it'll look like shit. Ray Hennessy is right. We need a platform that you can view like full size shit.
Just full size shit.
Full size photos with good quality, because that's kind of my bag. Like I like nice quality stuff, and like I saw that photo and I go, compositionally it's fine. It's a little awkward, but like the quality of like the details on my computer monitor is beautiful. It doesn't translate to Instagram on a 5-inch screen and then a thumbnail view.
Yeah. I don't mind the left justified. I think you did well on the
It's not terrible.
rule of thirds.
Rule of thirds.
Yeah, his eyeballs up kind of where it should be.
Yeah. That's
like
all
it.
AI.
I like it. That's all AI. Well,
It's not bad. It's the first one with the Sigma, so.
I was messing with some AI today actually, and I feel
You were?
I did earlier.
Kyle.
Therefore I were. Is this a second week in a row where I have to come on here and
This is the
admit-
second time that you're like, I've been messing around with AI.
Oh, yeah. Let's see how slick I can do this. Because I think I can make this kind of slick. So
You can get rid of me if you want.
yeah, just get rid of Matt entirely. So yeah, I can do this.
Not voice.
No. I think we can go. Well. Does this work? Oh, gee, you're covering it up. Oh well.
Get rid of me.
I don't know if I can get rid of you.
That's what my wife said.
That's
I think
good.
it's all,
I think.
I think it's all financial, but
So I'll kind of describe it. So this picture, the bird is too far to the left. So I don't know if I can nicely kind of scooch it over, but
I wouldn't say that's too far to the left. I would just
How
say it's
ugly is
too-
that now?
It's too large in the frame for how much it is to the left.
Yeah, and the tail comes right close to the edge
Yes,
of the frame
exactly.
there. So
Yeah.
I asked Matt today, this is all gross and live that I'm doing this, because you've added sections around the bird before, and I know that Dwayne Payton's done that, and he always talks about how like he'll show it. So he'll show like the raw, and then he'll show the edits he makes, so the sticks will come out, the bird will be edited color wise and stuff like that, which is good. I think transparency is the way that we should be doing.
I'm not bold enough.
You're not bold enough?
No.
Oh, I guess I could have done like this. That works too. But anyway, so this is the shot. And I was like, I want to make it different. I want to add some space around it. So I did.
How'd you do that, Kyle?
I asked my good pal Matt to kind of show me how he does it. And
You have a lot of them. Which one?
It's true. It's the one pleb that I do the podcast with. So,
Cheers.
yeah, you're welcome. So from here, because we know where the other one ended,
Yeah. Right.
to here is fake and AI, and like down about the same distance down here. So I just extended it around the whole frame. And it's funny that you actually highlighted a spot up here that you're like, oh, it did kind of weird things up here.
Yeah, it gave like teardrop bokeh.
That's
Just
in
because.
that's in the original shot. Like, so this white is what I added. So that's from camera, and you thought that spot was AI.
That's
it's not.
interesting.
Yeah,
Oh,
isn't
well,
that
the one
weird?
above. The one above it is.
This one definitely, yeah.
Yeah,
But
interesting.
that one's not.
Sorry for the audio. You guys are gonna have to start watching us on YouTube.
Yeah, watch the damn podcast on
There's
YouTube.
gonna be a lot more of this stuff. Tutorials, showing our shitty shots. There's gonna be a lot. So tune in.
Grow with us, guys.
Angry
We're getting
Bird
there.
Pod Show on YouTube. All right, carry on, Kyle.
Oh, thank you. That's a good plug. We don't have merch yet, but one day, buy some stuffed animals that look like birds from the Angry Bird game.
Nice.
But yeah, so like I actually sort of prefer, in a way, this shot now that the bird is smaller, which is interesting because we've talked about how as you kind of, I think you floated the question, like as you improve in photography, does your subject get smaller in the frame? And I think that's not 100% of the time, but I think this is a good example of this shot looks better than this.
It didn't get smaller because artistically it needs to. It got smaller because compositionally it needed to.
This is crazy
just-
because it shows how much actually was added.
It was just too tight to begin with, like you said. Like if it was a bird that was head on and the tail wasn't encroaching into the edge of the frame, maybe you could get away with it a little more.
Yeah.
But the positioning of the bird made it so. Yeah, you're way happier with that. I can tell.
It just looks better. I can't.
And that's what I'm talking about. Put your best foot forward, and like if it's using AI or adding some content, Phil aware, like just do it. Just don't try to get away with it with Autobahn.
Auto bum?
Autobahn, you know, like the bird contest and we're, you know, I don't know all of them. Bird photographer of the year, bird potty, bee potty. I don't know.
I saw.
I don't.
Yeah, there's a
any of the
hashtag
paid
recently.
ones. Any of the paid ones, I don't go into because one, I'm shit, and two, I'm frugal, cheap.
Oh, paid like you have to pay to enter.
Yeah, it's like $15 an image, or it's like $100 for like 15, and I'm like, I don't even have 15 images I like. So how am I going to convince other people of an image that they might like?
This is another.
You
shot.
could do something. You could do something live with this. Have you done it?
Do something what live? Oh yeah, I'm gonna.
Okay, sorry.
So
I'm getting excited. Kyle's doing AI.
So this is another shot that one of the other, actually the almost other shot where I was like, there's something in it that bugs me and I want to fix it. So I did. So how do I do that actually? Can I click it? Oh, I have to go. Hold on. I did it wrong. Oh, now we're fucking up.
Is this where we gain followers or lose followers?
Yes. Definitely one of the two. So where did all my menus go? Okay, there we go. What the heck? Okay, here we go. Yeah.
While you're doing that,
Nope.
we did get our first official fan mail. We'll talk about that in a bit.
Oh, we'll talk
We're
about that
excited.
after. Yeah.
Yep.
So, this is the first time that I did something removal. So this is the raw, and this is the edit I put on it. And as you can see, there's a big funky stick that I removed. And I do also prefer this picture without that stick.
Yeah.
I will admit it. Question for the group. Should I remove this part down here?
I don't think it's necessary.
I also don't think it's necessary because at least there's like kind of a natural stopping point behind.
It could be broke.
Right.
Like it's not. I never looked at that when you removed it and went, "Oh, that should continue." Like it's not that obvious.
Right, because this little stick here, like that's natural.
Exactly.
So that could be another one of those.
And I was going to say, if you're going to get rid of audio guys hate us, I apologize. If you're going to get rid of the one on the far right, you're going to have to get rid of the one that sticks out. And then you just have one stick with it doesn't have any character, which doesn't have a ton of character, but it has a little bit more than if they weren't there.
Yeah. So like this is the kind of stuff that I think I'm okay with. Mm-hmm. I might not disclose this one. Like if I post it on Instagram, it wouldn't be like, I took the stick out. But on the other one, I might say that I used AI to add space around the bird, but I wouldn't say where. Other than if you watched or listened to the podcast. What did we say? Transparency up the ass.
Yeah, save the finger strokes. Just post it.
Just post her.
What it does is it takes runny poo and it makes it solid shit.
Okay, that's the name of the
That's the name of the podcast?
Runny poo to solid shit. Yeah. Who's Ronnie Poo?
It's my alter ego. Right. No, really, it takes something that we couldn't do in the field, and you can recognize it in post, and you can potentially cheat a little bit. Yeah. I see no shame in that.
Oh, good, because you're the one I need to validate myself.
Check your ego at the door, guys. Come on. Mm-hmm. It's art, after all. I saw something on Threads where some guy was like, just because you're a photographer doesn't mean you're an artist. I'm like, who fucking shit in this guy's Cheerios?
Was it like, what is it? Runny Poo?
It was Ronnie Poo, yeah. No, it's just funny how people have all these ideas. Like, if you don't do this, then you're not that. And if you use this, then you're a cheater. And she's like, yeah, sure. That's your standards and that's fine. But like, I want to enjoy, and I feel like I'm actually not that creative to begin with, or I'd get it right in camera.
Exactly.
So
exactly,
I'm going to take what's available to me and I'm going to utilize it, because otherwise I'm just holding myself back from my creativeness.
Mm-hmm.
Suck on that.
Yeah, take that, fucking ass. The flex. Do you watch MMA?
I'm putting this video heavy. Everybody's gonna have to watch
the audio people are like, what the frick are they talking? Do you watch MMA at all?
I do. I know most of it because of listening to Joe, stuff like that. But
that's fair. Yeah. Do you know who Nate Diaz is? Not Nick.
Oh yeah.
They always have this like flex like that, but it's like more forward with their elbows like this. So they're always like,
yeah.
You reminded me of Nate Diaz. It'd be like,
oh, don't say that. I'm nothing like Nate Diaz.
No, not in most ways, but like just with the flex for no reason, because he's always
no reason. Well, there was a reason.
I mean, you weren't.
I'm flexing on the people.
You're flexing on the haters.
I'm flexing on the haters. I'm flexing on the elites.
Well, I've already said that I don't know what art is, so I'm already safe.
No, I don't either. But I think Ray, when you're on his podcast, preferred your idea of what creativeness is over mine. Mine was convincing my wife to let me go shoot.
You have to be creative in that sometimes.
Whereas you had this like, I like to show birds where they are in their natural habitat. And I'm just, you fucking guy. Like
this guy. I'm just trying to butter Ray up so he can teach me something.
Exactly. So let's go to we have this first official fan mail.
Yes.
Let fill some dead air here while I find it.
Fill some dead air. Who's Phil some dead air? It's the only joke I know.
It was from Matt. I'm not gonna like completely.
Another one.
It was another Matt.
Frick.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
He was saying that he was an amateur birder and an even more amateur photographer. And
so we thought he'd ask another couple amateurs their opinion.
he started listening because he heard us talk about two specific cameras, the R10 and the R8, and he was trying to figure out if it was a good upgrade to go from the R10, you having the R7, similar, to the R8, and what our opinions were. I did answer him privately via DM, but
how dare you?
It was very nice to finally have somebody actually. I'm not answering it here. We talk about this all the time. Matt got his answer. We talked a little bit more, but I want to thank Matt for mentioning or messaging us and giving a mention on the pod, and we want more of that stuff. That would be good. And if we do get more, I will save them and we'll do them here.
Absolutely.
I think I got a little overzealous when I saw one, and it was another Matt, and I was like, nice.
You did be like, hey,
That's me. You're one of me.
Yeah. Hey, that's another Matt. We're talking about cameras.
Yeah.
I think you've responded to like a couple of the comments on the videos too, which is cute.
I think one guy said because you were doing drink your tea for the
Yeah.
Towie,
Yeah.
and he said twist your tea. That could
Twist
be
your
like something
tea.
for us. I'm like, that's pretty good.
I completely forgot about that today, but it's a great idea. I also floated the idea past you about doing a segment called like twist your tea or drink your tea, where we just like do the twisted tea thing and then bitch about something for like 10 minutes. So I don't know. Maybe we'll add
There's
segments.
something there. We did have one more. This was a discussion, potential discussion, and someone had suggested that we talk about. Do you know how it's 100 men versus one gorilla? Mm-hmm. Like how that was a big thing.
Yep.
It was one great horned owl versus 100 chipping sparrows.
One great horned owl versus 100 chipping sparrows.
Who would win?
I'm trying to think if I've ever.
I put zero thought into this. I'm terrible at these.
Okay. If you've put zero thought into it, what did you think? What did you not think?
I think 100 chipping sparrows can do it.
Well, I was just thinking, like, I'm trying to remember if I've ever seen a chipping sparrow like visibly angry or frustrated at something.
I certainly have. I have them, like, that's one of my main yard birds that I like that nest here, and they can be pretty territorial and aggressive.
Yeah.
They're more like chihuahuas. Like, bark is bigger than their bite, but they'll come at you. They'll come at
chip.
whatever. Yeah, they got a chip on their shoulder.
I literally, until probably last year or the year before, thought they were chirping sparrows my whole life.
Like the name was chirping sparrows.
I just misread it when I was younger, and I was like, it's a chirping sparrow. So I called them chirping sparrows.
Might have to start using that.
Chirping sparrows.
It's kind of cute.
It'd be a fun insult to call someone. Be like, shut the fuck up, you chirping sparrow.
That's the name of the podcast.
We have 6 names for this podcast. I don't know if you're going to top turning runny shit into solid poo.
Runny poo into solid shit.
Runny poo into solid shit.
We'll work on the name, but that's it.
Angry Bird Pod Show, turning runny poo into solid shit.
Yeah. But I don't know how to answer that one. I just think 100 chipping sparrows. I don't have any real scientific reasoning behind it.
You ever play a game called StarCraft?
Sounds familiar.
It was kind of like one of those top... I'm sure there's a name for it, and as a computer nerd myself, I really should know the name. It's like a top-down kind of... You mine resources to make units, and then you go fight.
Definitely not then.
Okay.
Oh, I'm thinking of Star Fox.
Star Fox is different.
Yeah, but that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
I played the shit
Why
out of
would
that
you
game.
confuse Star Fox and
N64?
StarCraft?
Oh, I don't know. Star?
Yeah. But there was a race in StarCraft called the Zerg, and it was it was like a... I swear this is a segue, and I will answer your question. It was a race of like more fleshy aliens, because there was 3 races. There was the humans called the Terran. Then there was the Protoss, which were kind of like a techie alien, so they were kind of more like technology based. And then there was like the biological alien called the Zerg. And the base unit was half resource price, and you got 2 of them in the Zerg, but they were really easy to kill. But you could make like a bunch of units really quick and just send them at the other person's base. And when you were just sort of starting your whatever base, and you like 12 fucking Zerglings showed up, you'd be pissed off because all you have is like the mining unit, which don't do much damage. So I feel like 100 chipping sparrows could take out a great horned owl, because there's just so many. Like
It's too many. It's chaos.
Yeah. You get one going for the butthole, you get one going for the eyes. Like you which one are you going for? You put your hand up.
Well, I'd be the one going for the butthole.
Okay, fair enough. That's where Ronnie Pooh hangs out.
We're off the rails.
Just
20. We're in the second season.
shouts to Jamie, because I was talking to her earlier today. She goes, "What are you guys going to talk about in the podcast today?" And I was like, I sent her a message back. I was thinking, I don't know. Like, we'll have something to talk about, and then we'll just veer off.
Yeah, we just talk. That's kind of the whole point. We just record our conversation.
Yep.
Okay, well, we answered it. We both think it's chipping sparrow.
I think chipping sparrows could take out a great horned owl.
Yeah. I don't want to spend too much time on this because I like the 100 men versus gorilla. Like, I just got so tired of just seeing everything on it and Reddit threads. And like, this is crazy. Even the group chat was talking about it, and I just like tuned out for 3 days.
I saw a blooper from an F1 thing last weekend where they asked my favorite driver, Oscar Piastri. They wanted to ask him that question, but the question asker fucked up. It was like, who would win in a fight, 1 man or 100 gorillas? And he was like, 1 man or 100 gorillas.
I almost did that when I was explaining it here.
I feel like that. All right, so it's 1 chipping sparrow versus 100 great horned owls.
I don't think anybody loses.
Everybody wins.
Well, no, they're not going to do anything to chipping sparrow. They're just going to let it bounce around and be like, fuck off.
I don't think a chipping sparrow has ever pissed anyone off. They just hop around and eat seeds.
I think they're great. Honestly, as common as they are, they're one of my favorite sparrows. Mm-hmm. They really are. There's something about them. I think it's because they're in my yard. Like, I'm in a small town. I have your typical backyard birds, but like, I don't know. Just seeing those chipping sparrows every year is like I'm cutting my grass twice a week, 3 times a week. Like, it's spring, baby.
Yeah.
And they, signify that.
I don't mind them at all.
The core memory.
That's a great movie. Did we bring up?
You brought it up last week.
Last one, okay, yeah. Because I was like, this isn't the first time Inside Out's come up on the podcast.
It's the second.
The second time?
2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks in a row.
See if I can do this live here. I have a shot of a chipping sparrow that I took with the weirdest kit from this. Not the weirdest kit, but it was also from a strange location.
If you listen to the audio, go to the video now. If you haven't already.
We're really trying to push the video by adding some visual elements. So if you care, fucking show up. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it. So basically what I'm doing right now is just talking so that there's space full of stuff.
And I'm letting you.
You're just letting me fucking drown. It's fine. Like earlier when you're like, yo, vamp for like 10 seconds. I was like, fucking.
I can grab the guitar.
So, yes, please don't. So this picture was me laying on my one couch looking up at the roof. So this line is the roof of my house. And this little feller was standing on the edge of the roof. And I happened to have the 300 F4 bolted on when I had it to the R7. That thing was possibly more frustrating to focus than the Sigma was because it just wouldn't acquire focus at all. Using iFocus or auto tracking or anything.
I was gonna say even spot single point, but obviously it'd be all right.
So that's how I got this shot, was using just a box. And I snapped like 3 shots and I kind of like it. It's just like...
No, it really does have nice bokeh in that lens.
That lens on a DSLR is magic.
Yeah.
But it just did not work. I don't know if it would have worked any better on the R8 versus the R7, but on the R7 it just...
I doubt it. But don't quote me on that. Now that I'm trying this adapted stuff, I have this little, where is it?
Oh, you're...
This little thing. So I didn't tell you before we started, but this little thing, I went to Amherst Island with a couple of the guys, and Jack was there, JM Wildlife. JM_wildlife. And we're sitting in the back of the truck after a long day, and we've been laughing all day, and he's going through his bag, and he's just like, what the fuck do I have this for? What do I have this? And he pulls out this lens, and he goes, I don't even know I have this. You want this? And he just like tosses it at me, and I'm just like, I don't know. Okay, sure. And I've had it for like 3 or 4 years, and now that I have this adapted lens and the adapter, I threw it on, and the thing's a beauty.
Oh, you didn't even have an adapter before, did you?
I don't have an adapter, no.
Oh, so you're born Keats too. That's funny. That's
I didn't know. I didn't think this EFS would work on it for some reason. I never really clued in like that. I didn't even have it in crop mode. I think it automatically switched.
Yep.
Oh, it did. Okay, because there was no vignette. There was no frame. The frame
switch
issues.
it back. Not now. You're using the camera, but after you can go and open it up to full frame and it'll just be like this donut.
I was
I'll
gonna,
just
I was gonna
punch my
say
mic.
it's not gonna switch back now. I have to do it manually, but I see what you're saying. Switch it back so it's in full frame using the full sensor.
It's pretty funny. You're like, I don't know who could use this.
But now this thing that hasn't had a back on it or a
Lens cap.
lens cap for years, and it's not even scratched, which is crazy. It's got a new lease on life.
Tony
One
North,
of these episodes, you and I are both going to use these to record with.
Yeah. I think I can find, if not the same lens, like an 18 to 45. Is that what that is?
1855.
1855? We might have an
BFS.
1845 lying around. Yeah. Just slap that on and see what it looks like, because why not? I could do a 50.
I took photos. It didn't look too bad. I mean, it's not as good as this 1.8, but
I think it'll be like
3.5 at 18.
8 megapixels.
Oh, 9. When you go
9?
into APS-C, it's 9.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't get, there's math there, and I'm bad at that part, so I don't know why that math works.
This is verbal diarrhea. I just know it's
As you
9.
can tell, a guy who looks as cool as this doesn't know math.
Fuck, I need a pair of those.
They're pretty sweet, eh? Everyone I show them to, they're like, actually, those are sick.
What's the name again? Get them.
Too Savage.
Too Savage, please.
Too Savage.
I would love to rock your shades for the beginning and end of our. You've heard how. Check out how hard our intro and outro go.
Oh, I think our intro goes harder than these glasses, if I'm being honest.
They're on the same level.
How many monitors do you think I'm staring at right now?
I think that Savage gear, whatever the hell that is,
Too Savage.
Too Savage should come out with a.
I'll even do this. Can you see the? Oh, actually, this might not work. Come on.
Oh, there we go. Yep.
Too Savage.
They should come out with a model for us.
The Angry Birds Too Savage collab? Oh man, I don't know if I could handle that. That's too much cool.
That'd be pretty
like it.
dope.
What would in the last 10 seconds of our show here, what would the Angry Birds sunglasses that look like these look like?
They would definitely have like red, burnt orange, like a reddish orange.
Like this color?
Yeah. Okay. I never even thought of it that way. I was more or less thinking just like the main character of the actual Angry Birds game.
Okay, sure.
So I was going with the kind of that red, and then I added the burnt orange. Also good for a loon. Loons have red eyes.
Okay, riddle me this. If the
Black frames.
Well, the black frame, but do like a checkerboard
The
white.
loon checkered.
The loon checkers on the
Bro.
side.
We need these guys to check this out.
Oh, because loons have red eyes too, buddy.
Yes, and then you could have the white plumage down the side of checkered, and it could be the Angry Bird Pod Show ABPS collab.
I'm gonna send him an email. I'm gonna send him this
my
podcast,
My
and we'll
guy.
see what we get.
All right.
I don't know. We'll find out. There's no harm in asking.
Aussies are amazing people. They're chill. They're probably like this shit.
Okay, have I told you I think I did actually about my friend's wedding. What movie they were watching when we showed up?
No.
Did I not? Okay.
I got a terrible memory.
Okay, well, I'll say it again. So this will be perfect for the audio podcast too, because I don't have to show anything. So my wife did. She likes to do people's wedding invitations just kind of as a hobby. She's kind of creative in art. She understands art and is creative. So
She built everything you're looking at.
Yeah, all this. No.
Weird. You guys are related?
Yeah, no, that's not what I was implying. I should have filtered that joke better. No, so she did our friend's invitations. She was marrying an Australian fella, and a couple days before the wedding, we went to drop off the invitations to their house, and all of their Australian friends had shown up before the wedding to stay with them, just to hang out because they hadn't seen each other in years. They moved from Australia to here. She's Canadian. They met somewhere else. It's a whole long story that we don't need to get into, but they have a lot of Australian friends, so they all came to show up. So there was, I think, 6 couples, so 12 Aussies, and they're all farmers. And in Australia, here you would say, I live in the sticks. So like I right now live in the sticks. You live in the sticks. In Australia, that same term is the whoop whoop. So all of these people were from the whoop whoop. And when we walked in, we handed them their invitations, and we just planned to like, oh hi, kind of here's your shit, bye. And like, come on in. We have all these friends here. We're drinking, having a good time. So like, all right. So we walk in. All 14, because the 2 people who lived in the house and the other 12 are watching 50 Shades of Grey together and talking about what they've tried and done and what works for them and what doesn't. And I was like, I am not this close with my closest friends. And these were all like friends, but I don't know who's best friends and who's whatever. But like, I wouldn't talk about that with you. No offense. Like,
You wouldn't?
not yet.
I hope I get close enough with our audience that we could do that.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll try that. We'll start another one. The Angry Birds sex show.
I have no filter, and I've realized since podcasting that I have filtered quite a bit. So there's many more layers to
layers
this guy
here.
right here that you haven't
Ogres
even
are like layers?
discovered yet. Yeah.
So, but like, then they were like, hey, person I've never met, what do you think? And I was like,
Oh shit! On the spot.
immediately tried to add us. So I was like, that's an amazing like personality trait. You're just like, come on in, you're our friend now. But I was like, I'm not that open, but I appreciate that you guys are, and I actually envy that a little bit. So Australians are great. They were,
and they accepted that, right?
yeah. And actually,
perfect.
after that, we moved on to talking about root beer because there was a very it was a very divisive. Some of them loved it, and some of them thought it tasted like medicine because they don't have root beer down there.
Right.
So that was one of the things they tried when they came here, and I was like, this is a conversation I can be a part
I could
of.
see how the medicine thing could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All I'm saying
Especially
is
not having it there. Yeah.
Australians are awesome. These
Great
sunglasses
people.
are awesome.
Amazing.
We are awesome.
And we should start thinking about that glasses design.
You know what we should do? We'll get Jen to design it for us. Send it to them and be like, listen, we're thinking of this. We can probably sell 2 to 3 pairs for you.
2 to Kyle, 1 to me. I'm cheap.
Exactly. I'll get the collection of them going. I'll have one in a box that I never open, one that I'll wear every day.
We joke too much. This pod is doing amazing.
I know.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Like, we never expected to be this many listens. So
I don't know what I expected, but none, I think, is probably closer to what.
That's what it is. It was none. So the 5 just feels like
Perfect.
insane.
It's 500% more than I thought we were going to get.
It really is.
And it is interesting. Like, I have like friends or casual acquaintances even that listen to it, then like offer me advice or talk about like, oh, like Jamie the other day says like, blah, blah, blah. I don't do that because it's faff. And I was like, see?
There you go. Yeah.
Like, you listen.
I was standing out on in the driveway with my neighbor, and he's like, "Oh, I was listening to your podcast the other day," and I'm like,
The
and he just started talking. He started talking about something, and I'm just like, "This is hilarious."
That's weird.
Yeah.
I don't talk to my neighbors, so if they said that, I'd be like, I don't even talk to you.
Like, well, I know you have a podcast, and I'm watching you.
I'm watching you. I got good neighbors. I have nothing to say bad about them.
There you go. He wouldn't hear it anyway.
It's true. He might hear me like if I leave the window open or something.
Physically, right now, yeah.
Just shouting at my window. I hate my neighbors.
I usually do. I pretend that I live in the country, even though I'm in a small hamlet in the country. Mm-hmm. I pretend I have acreage, and there's not people beside me.
I might have ridge. I don't have the acre part, just ridge.
No. What size is your lot? This is good for the video or the audio.
It's a corner, so it's kind of a weird shape. Well, it's a square, but I don't
Probably
have
pretty decent as a corner lot, though.
Yeah, it's not bad. I just don't know
This
how
is for
big it is.
the property enthusiasts that listen to the pod.
Angry Birds Property Brothers show.
We got a lot of clouds going up.
We're just gonna demolish every IP that we can find. Just run it over. I'm also done. You know what that means?
Yes, it means throw those shades on because it's your time, baby.
Oh, it's my time.
I did it last week.
It's true. Oh, and you said it might be your last week, so I'm glad you came back for this one.
We have that glasses collab now. I'm game. I'm so excited for that. They don't know it, but I'm excited.
They don't know it, but they will.
They've grown on me. I'll tell you that. Those glasses have grown on me.
That's what I'm saying. Like they're ridiculous, but then they're like,
Yeah.
That's actually sick.
I asked you why you bought chick glasses when you showed me the screenshot of what you purchased.
Yep.
But
And
now
now
I'm
you're
like, I'm pretty jealous. I think it's all
Yes.
your screens. I think it's all the screens that are reflecting off it, though, that give it like this night city cyberpunk vibe.
Yeah. I'm literally staring at 4 monitors right now. I can't see that one. It's actually because they're polarized. It's weird.
You look like you remind me of like a Ripper Doc in Cyberpunk.
Oh.
Never
Never played it, but I'll look it up.
Oh,
after.
you didn't? See, I've never played Starfield. Okay, we're gonna go on a tangent. We'll do this next episode.
The video game podcast is for next week. All right. As Matt's already said, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. If you really appreciate us, please subscribe, like, share, do that shit that people always talk about. Because now seeing from this side, it does help quite a bit. But even just a listener or watch is it means a lot to both of us, and I know
appreciated
it from right here. Actually, I should do flex. Thank you. And let's start the music right now. Boom.
Good chat, Kyle.
You too, buddy. Love you. Talk to you later.
All up in the lens.
Bye.
Snapping, capturing all them trends. Peeping through the scope, freeze frame the fly. Angry Bird Pod Show, aiming for the sky. Oh, they click in the snap, see the birds on the map. Angry Bird Pod Flow, flipping through the recap. Kyle and Matt, dropping wings on blast. Tune in next week, this one never in the past. Eagles, hawks, and kestrels, flying so divine. Peep the live broadcast, podcast goldmine. Twisting in the air, birds of every kind. Critics gonna chirp, but they ain't ever dying. Zooming in on sparrows, robins in the mist. Matt's got the shutter, Kyle's got the twist. Feathered friends in flight, equipped with the strut. Angry Bird Pod Show, capturing the cut. Oh, they click in the snap, see the birds on the map. Angry Bird Pod Flow, flipping through the recap. Kyle and Matt, dropping wings on blast. Tune in next week, this one never in the past. Dawn of twilight, watch the colors flash. Birds of every shade in a photogenic dash. No need for fame, just the birds flying free. Angry Bird Pod Show, bringing all the glee. Oh, they click and they snap, see the birds on the map. Angry Bird Pod Flow, flipping through the recap. Kyle and Matt, dropping wings on blast. Tune in next week, this but never in the past. Eagles, hawks, and kestrels, flying so divine. Keep the live broadcast, podcast goldmine. Twisting in the air, birds of black, so fine. Brain Matt, dropping wings on blast. Tuning in next week, this but never in the past. In the past. Tuning in next week, this but never in the past. In the past. Zooming in on sparrows, robins in the mist. Matt's got the shutter, Kyle's got the twist. Feathered friends in flight, equipped with the strut. Angry Bird Pod Show, capturing the cut. From dawn to twilight, watch the colors flash. Birds of every shade in a photogenic dash. No need for fame, just the birds flying free. Angry Bird Pod Show, bringing all the glee. Oh, they click and they snap, see the birds on the map. Angry Bird Pod Flow, flipping through the recap. Kyle and Matt, dropping wings on blast. Tune in next week, this one never in the past. From the past. Not shortcut. Not shortcut. Angry Bird Pod Show, bringing all the glee. Bringing all the glee.